Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing. Don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling for June 17th, 2021. Now, man, with this show, man, it wasn't exciting at all, man. Like, it felt like it was unexciting. You know, the only thing that was exciting was the ending. That was the ending of the show with Don Callis being fired as EVP. That's the only thing that I did care about on this show. Now, as far as the matches go, I really didn't care about the matches. The matches weren't important on the show. The only thing that was important was the Don Callis stuff and the anthem. People coming in to address, what happened at Against All Odds with Sami Callihan and all that stuff. But yeah, some of the matches it felt like rematches, like matches that we already saw and all that stuff. But yeah, really, it felt like it was just boring. It felt like it was just boring until we got into the end of the show. But yeah, that was Impact Wrestling though. So yeah, so this is the Impact Wrestling review on the Ryan Awesome Show for June 17th, 2021. And just like what I said in the intro, if you haven't done this already, man, hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And right next to the subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And so yeah, man, we start off the show with Gia Miller. She was backstage. She tried to get a word with Scott D'Amore. She was outside of his office. And so yeah, she knocked on the door. Nobody answered the door. And so you had Moose that came in. He started banging on the door. And so Scott, he got out of the office. And so yeah, so Moose, he was upset. He was pissed off that he got screwed at Against All Odds at Daly's place. And he said that he want a rematch. He want a rematch for the Impact World Championship at Slammiversary. And so, D'Amore, he had said that, the Anthem, the representatives of Anthem, they will be here tonight on Impact Wrestling to sort things out with Sami Callihan's firing and all that stuff. And so D'Amore, he was saying that, Moose, I'm upset too. I'm upset that you got screwed too. But right now, man, I don't have time for you right now. I don't have time for you. And so yeah, Moose, he was upset that Scott said that. And so he was like, all right, you don't have time for me? All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. And so, yeah, that was it with that. And so we started off the show. So, yeah, right after that, we started off our first match on the show. And it was TJP with Fallah Bahh in his corner versus Black Taurus with Crazzy Steve in his corner. And so yeah, this match was decent. It was decent, but yeah, I'm going to talk about it when I'm done with the match. But yeah, so yeah, both of these guys, they try to one-up each other. We had a pump handle backbreaker to TJP. And then Taurus, he had took control of the match at that point. We had a TJP tried to fight back. He had a diving hurricanrana on Taurus, and we had a springboard elbow strike to Taurus, and we had a tornado DDT to Taurus. And at one point we had TJP. He dove outside the ring on everybody, including his partner Fallah Bahh. So he dove on Taurus, Steve, and Fallah Bahh. And to end the match, we had TJP. He had his finishing move, the Mamba Splash, the Frog Splash, or the Mamba Splash, whatever you want to call it, to Black Taurus to win the match. So TJP wins the match, and yeah, it was a great back and forth. But the one thing I don't agree with, man, was why did Black Taurus needed to lose? Why did Black Taurus lose? He couldn't be in the ring with Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve could have took that loss. But yeah, ever since they brought Black Taurus in Impact Wrestling, they've been building him up. They built him up strong. And now, man, the K. They haven't been winning. They have not been winning lately. They lost the tag team championship match against Violent by Design, and now they lose again. Taurus, he lose again on TV tonight. And so yeah, Taurus, man, Taurus is the type of guy that should not be losing. The dude looked freaking intimidating, dude. If you see this dude in the alleyway, you see this dude in the alley, you will run the other way. That's how intimidating he is. So a guy like Black Taurus, he should not be losing. So it should have been Crazy Steve that was in this match and took that L from TJP. You know, but yeah, that was it with that. That was it with the match. And so right after the match, we had TJP. He got attacked by Moose. So Moose had attacked TJP. And so yeah, so Moose, he had grabbed the microphone and he said that he's hijacking the show. He hijacking the show, and so he called out Scott D'Amore. And so yeah, so the security guards, they came out to the ring. They tried to eject Moose from ringside, and so Moose had told the security guards to back up, like back away. You're not Scott D'Amore. I called out Scott D'Amore. I want him out here, not you. And so yeah, so Chris Sabin, he had came from behind. I think he was dressed as a security guard, and so he had came from behind and attacked Moose. And he started hitting him with a chair, and then he threw a shoe at Moose at one point. And so yeah, he challenged Moose to a match. So he wanted to fight Moose right now. He wanted to fight Moose right now, and of course none of them were dressed to compete. And so yeah, so that was it with that. Chris Sabin, getting revenge on Moose and what he did with James Storm, or what he did to James Storm when that qualifying match, I think, at Under Siege or for Under Siege, because Moose had took out James Storm, I think shattered his ankle. And so yeah, so Chris Sabin is back with a vengeance. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a backstage segment. It was Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, and Rohit Raju. They were backstage and they were talking about, the X Division Championship contendership and all that stuff. And they have like a six-way match or they'll be competing for the X Division Championship match at what's that, Slammiversary. They'll be competing at Slammiversary for the X Division Championship. And yeah, and so yeah, so they try to talk strategy at first. Raju, he didn't trust Ace Austin and Madman Fulton and all that stuff. And so Austin, he said that, you guys took out Madman Fulton. You guys have spiked him on his head. And so we did what we had to do to you. And so yeah, so Austin and Raju, they tried to, Austin, he wanted Raju to team up with him to take out everybody else. And when it comes down to these two, when it come out to us two, then we'll see who the better person is. And so yeah, so Raju, he didn't trust Austin at first, so he had to think about it. So he accepted Austin's offer. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that, we had Gia Miller. She was backstage. She interviewed Chris Sabin, and she had asked Sabin how he was doing and all that stuff. We haven't seen you since Under Siege, and she asked how his knee was and all that stuff. He didn't even answer her question, but yeah, he talked about Moose, and he challenged Moose to a match. Of course, Moose, he didn't accept the match, but I'm gonna challenge him at Slammiversary on a big stage in front of fans. I'm gonna challenge you at Slammiversary. And so yeah, he wants Moose to accept the match, because he wants to humble Moose. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after this, we had a match, and it was Madman Fulton with Ace Austin in his corner versus Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, who is the X Division champion. And so yeah, this match right here, it felt like a rematch because Alexander and Austin, they've been back and forth with competing after the X Division Championship. And so yeah, so we had Fulton. He had threw Alexander across the ring. We had a release suplex to Alexander. We had a big boot to Alexander outside the ring, so they were fighting outside the ring. And then Fulton, he had took control of the match during a commercial break, no picture in picture. It's not AEW, it's not NXT, so Impact Wrestling, no picture in picture. And so yeah, we came back from commercial break. We had Alexander, he had hit the snake eyes on Alexander, or Fulton rather. He hit the snake eyes on Alexander. Shades of the Undertaker right there. And so yeah, Austin he had gave Alexander a cheap shot behind the referee's back. And so yeah, Alexander he had locked in the ankle lock on Fulton. And he ended up, Alexander ended up changing his mind, so he went for something else. And so yeah, so they were going back and forth. And then to end the match, we had Josh Alexander hit his finishing move, the Divine Intervention, to Madman Fulton to win the match. So Josh Alexander wins the match. And so right after the match, we had Austin. He attacked Alexander, and so they were beating down Alexander. And so Petey Williams had came out to save Alexander, and he took out Austin. And then Rohit Raju had came out and attacked Williams, and then Trey Miguel came out to attack Raju. So they were going out one by one. And so Shera had came out. Shera had came out, attacked Williams, Miguel, and Alexander. And so yeah, right after that we had Austin. We had the heels standing over the baby faces. So Austin, Fulton, Raju, and Shera, they stood over the baby faces. And so yeah, that was it with that. So they're promoting their match that I think it was is it a 6-way or 8-man? It's for the X Division Championship. I think they call it the Ultimate X or something like that. When there's multiple guys competing for the X Division Championship, I think that's what they call it. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had a backstage segment from Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion, Kimber Lee, and Susan. And so Purrazzo, they were all talking to each other, and so Purrazzo, she was upset that Lee and Susan didn't even get the job done at Against All Odds. And so yeah, so Susan, she had told Purrazzo that you wouldn't even be the Impact Knockouts Women's Champion if it wasn't for us. You would not be champion if it wasn't for us. And so Kimberly should try to be the peacemaker, trying to calm Susan and Purrazzo down. And so Purrazzo, she ended up dumping Lee and Susan, like, I don't need you guys. How about you guys get out of my sight? And so that was it with that. Yeah, so right after that, we had Gia Miller. She interviews W. Morrissey. And so, yeah, she wanted to know his thoughts on beating Rich Swann, a former X Division champion, or a former World Heavyweight champion, rather. Morrissey, he had said that, everybody in the Impact locker room, they're in an illusion. They all have friends, you know. And Morrissey, he talked about Kojima and Eddie Edwards and Swann and Willie Mack and TJP and Fallah Bahh, saying that they weren't friends. Like, he said, like, where was Eddie Edwards? Or when Kojima needed help? And where was, Rich Swann when Willie Mack needed help? And where was Fallah Bahh when TJP got attacked by Moose earlier tonight? And so, yeah, so Morrissey, he basically said that, you guys are not friends. All these guys I just mentioned, they don't have, they're not friends. They're not friends. And friends will always stab you in the back. That's what he said. Like, friends will always stab you in the back. And that, Morrissey, he had said that the one thing that he always learned in his life and in his industry, friends, the only person that he can trust is himself. And so, yeah, that was it with that. What's next for W. Morrissey? He should probably be going after the X Division Championship. It's just me. But yeah, I don't know who he's gonna target next, who's gonna go after him. I don't know. Probably Eddie Edwards because he mentioned Eddie Edwards. And yeah, so it might be Eddie Edwards right after he's done with Kojima and Violent by Design. But yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, right after that we had a match, and it was an enhancement match, and it was Jason Page versus Steve Maclin, the former Steve Cutler. And so yeah, so this is a enhancement match. This is a squash match. So yeah, so we had Maclin. He had suplex Page on the rope, like directly on the rope. And so we had a clothesline to Page that absolutely leveled this guy, put him down. And so yeah, we had a reverse. So to end the match, we had a reverse DDT to Page to win the match. So Steve Maclin wins the match. And yeah, that was it with that. I don't know what they're gonna do with Maclin. I I said this last week. You know, I don't know where Wesley Blake is. I know he released from his contract. He's been released from his contract a while back. If Wesley Blake is gonna come, if he's gonna wrestle, I would send him I'll send him to Impact and have him team up with Steve Maclin because they were great together. They were great together in NXT when they were the Forgotten Sons. They were great together, and they need some tag teams down there. They need some tag teams in Impact Wrestling because they don't have nobody. They don't have that many people in the tag team division. All you have is Violent by Design. You have who else? You have I guess you could say TJP and Fallah Bahh. You had Triple XL, the Jobbers. Who else you have? Not that many people. Not that many people in the tag team division. You had the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know where the hell Alex Shelley is. I don't know where he is. You know, and then they paired them up. They paired Chris Sabin and James Storm together. But yeah, they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody in the tag team division. So yeah, so putting Wesley Blake and Steve Maclin together, they are a legit tag team. They would be a legit tag team. They were spicing up that tag team division because they were never tag team champions in WWE. You know, Wesley Blake when he was with Buddy Murphy, they were NXT tag team champions. But you know, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler as the Forgotten Sons, they were never NXT tag team champions. They should have. They should have been tag team champions. They were great together. But yeah, I don't buy Steve Maclin as a singles guy. I don't buy him as a singles guy. He'll fit better as a tag team guy. That's just me. That's just me, man. But yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, right after that we had a backstage segment from Jordynne Grace and Rachael Ellering. So they were backstage, they were talking. And so yeah, we had Ellering. She was talking about her match that she had later on tonight with Tenille Dashwood. And Ellering, she wanted Grace's support. You know, she wanted her to join her ringside. And so, you know, Grace, she was listening to Ellering talk and all that stuff. And so yeah, so Grace, you know, she was telling Ellering like, you know, you really don't know why I'm upset. You know, the reason why I'm upset is that people like everybody in this locker room think that the only like the I'm talking like the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I've been trying so hard to go after the Impact Knockouts Tag Team titles, and everybody in the locker room think that the reason why I'm the tag team champion is because of you and all that stuff. And so Ellering, she said that everybody is not saying that. It's just Tenille Dashwood. And so Jordynne Grace, she said that, you know, no, it's not Tenille Dashwood. It's everybody. Everybody is saying that. And it's funny that you say Tenille Dashwood only thinks that because it's the only person that you talk to. Tenille Dashwood is the only person you talk to. And so yeah, so Jordynne Grace, she had walked away, and that was it, man. So we as the weeks go by, we are getting this heel turn. Like the heel turn is slowly coming up, but you know, the heel turn it should happen at a big stage. It should happen on a big stage, and what bigger stage there is than Slammiversary? I'll do it at Slammiversary, whatever they're doing at Slammiversary. I'll have Jordynne Grace turn heel, beat the hell out of Rachael Ellering, and just snap and beat the hell out of Rachael Ellering, and that'll be it. That's the heel turn. And then we having fans. We're having fans at Slammiversary. So the heel turn might happen at Slammiversary. So yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She interviews Don Callis, the Invisible Hand. And so yeah, so first off, Don Callis, he was talking about Scott D'Amore and all that stuff, saying that they had that brother type relationship, you know, always fighting and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they work well together. And so Callis, he had said that he don't have any empathy or sympathy towards the locker room, the Impact locker room, the wrestlers. You know, and he said that Scott D'Amore is too nice and that he cares too much about the wrestlers, so that's why they're in the position that they are right now. And so, and Callis said that that's why he had to fire Sami Callihan. You know, because Scott D'Amore he didn't have the guts to do it, so that's why he did it. And so yeah, so Callis he said that he don't care. He don't care about Callihan. And so yeah, so Callis he had said that once the Anthem representatives come here, they owe me a thank you for a job well done that I've been doing or that I've done rather. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had a match and it was a women's match. We have Tenille Dashwood with Kaleb in her corner, Kaleb with a K versus Rachael Ellering. And so yeah, so first off we had Dashwood. She tried to offer Rachael Ellering a T-shirt, the T-shirt that she showed last week. And so yeah, and so Ellering she had threw the T-shirt outside the ring. And so yeah, so we had a shoulder tackle to Dashwood, and then Kaleb had grabbed onto Ellering's foot. So yeah, so this match it started off slow, it really did, and then everything started to pick up towards the middle. And so yeah, so Dashwood took advantage of the distraction, and so yeah, so both of these ladies they were fighting outside the ring. And then Dashwood had threw Ellering into the guardrail, and we had a diving crossbody to Ellering, and she kicked out. And then Ellering she started to fight back with strikes and chops. And we had a running senton bomb to Dashwood. We had a clothesline to Ellering. We had a spine buster to Dashwood, and she kicked out. And we had a corner crossbody to Ellering. And then Kaleb at one point, he had like a LED light, and he flashed it into Rachael Ellering's eyes. And so we had Tenille Dashwood had rolled up Ellering for the win. So therefore, Tenille Dashwood wins the match, and that was it. Really dumb. Did not. It was a dumb ending, dude. Like really light. And like, dude, Tenille Dashwood is too good to be cheating to win, and having Kaleb by her side, like helping her cheat to win. I don't know, man. I really didn't care about the match. I really didn't care about none of the matches on this show. But yeah, and this match right here was the main thing I didn't care about. But yeah, so that was it with that. So yeah, so right after that we had a backstage segment from TJP and Fallah Bahh. They were trying to get a word with Scott D'Amore, and so they wanted to talk to Scott D'Amore, TJP, I'm guessing, because what happened to him earlier tonight with Moose attacking him. And so Scott he never opened his door. The door never opened, and so yeah, Decay had interrupted Black Taurus, and Crazy Steve had interrupted Fallah Bahh and TJP. And so yeah, so they were talking, and so Fallah he had challenged Decay to a tag team match, so that it would be a clean sweep. And so yeah, so Fallah Bahh he had the broom in his hand, and so he said it'll be a clean sweep, and he swept with the broom. So yeah, ha 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 ha. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after this we had Fire and Flava. They were backstage, the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. That's Kiera, Hogan, and Tasha Steelz. And they said that they were the baddest tag team or the baddest Knockouts tag team in Impact history. And so yeah, so they were backstage. They were gonna interview some people, asking them who is the baddest Knockouts tag team of all time. And so yeah, they asked one guy, and he didn't know the answer. And then they asked another guy, he didn't know either. And so yeah, Rosemary had showed up from behind, started talking to Fire and Flava, and then Havoc had showed up from behind, on the other side of Fire and Flava, and so they attacked Fire and Flava. And yeah, so Having and Rosemary, they threw Steelz into a wall, and then they threw Kiera Hogan into the trash can, the garbage can. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, so yeah, so during this we had Tasha Steelz, she was in the trash can because she got thrown into the trash can. And so yeah, they wanted to know like what was it that was in the trash can. So they picked up the trash bag, and on the trash bag it had like it had tape on it, and it said Mickey on it. And so I was like, oh my god, like oh no, cause you remember when Mickey James she had got fired from, or she got released from her contract from WWE, they had sent her stuff in a trash bag with her name on it on that tape. So yeah, I was like, oh no, man. I was like, oh my god, that's terrible. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so having a Rosemary, they will be going after the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I'm guessing. What have they done to warrant a championship match? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So therefore, they don't deserve a championship match. And and have they even won as a team? That's the better question. Did they win as a team? No, not from what I remember. No. So why are they getting a tag team match, a tag team title match, potentially a tag team title match? But yeah, that was it with that. Yeah. So the main event we had Rhino, who is one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions, with Fallah Bahh Design in his corner. That's Eric Young, Deonna, and Joe Doring versus Kojima with Eddie Edwards in his corner. So yeah, we had a stipulation in this match. So yeah, so if Kojima wins the match against Rhino tonight, then he, Kojima, and Eddie Edwards will get a tag team title match against Violent by Design, any members of Violent by Design, and that was a dumb stipulation. That was a stupid stipulation. Dumb stipulation. Like why do you need to beat a champion to get a tag team title match? That's my question. You should be winning matches to get a championship match. But yeah, so yeah, we had Rhino. He had used his power against Kojima, and then Kojima hit his machine gun, chops the Rhino. We had a diving elbow drop to Rhino. He kicked out. We had strikes to Rhino, and he was still standing up. We had a DDT to Rhino. We had a belly to belly suplex to Kojima, and we had a Koji cutter to Rhino. And to end the match, we had Kojima. He hit his lariat to Rhino to win the match. So Kojima wins the match and will be challenging him. Him and Eddie Edwards will be challenging the Bottom by Design guys next week on Impact for the tag team titles. And so yeah, like dude, why do we need to beat champions to get a championship match? They do this all the time. They do this all the time with all their champions, dude. Why does a champion need to lose? Why? What happened to beating other guys until you get a title match? They never won a match as a tag team. Eddie Edwards and Kojima, they're not a tag team. They're not a tag team. They've been put together. They've been put together and they never won a match as a tag team. So why are they getting a tag team title match? Oh, just because you beat the champion, that doesn't mean you deserve a championship match. It don't mean that. You need to get wins to get a championship match. Like wow, you don't see Kenny Omega losing every single week on TV. You don't see Kenny Omega losing. You don't see Miro losing. You don't see Roman Reigns losing on TV. No, no. You need to beat other guys to get a championship match. You don't need to beat the champion to get a championship match. That's not how it works. But yeah, dumb. I hate to see that. It makes the champion look bad, dude. It makes the championship look bad. Don't do that, man. You can't do that. But yeah, that's one thing that freaking make me mad, dude, is when they book their champions to lose all the time. I don't care what champion you are, you should not be losing, period. The only time you should be losing is in a championship match. That's the only time a champion should ever lose is in a championship match. But yeah. But yeah, anyway. And plus, dude, I don't understand why Violent by Design is still feuding with Kojima. I don't know. Joe Doring already beat him. He already beat him at against all odds. Why are they still feuding? And plus, I don't even know why the match even happened. I don't even know why the match even happened, bro. The match never should have happened. Never should have happened. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so next week's show, so next week's show is gonna be so Kojima and Eddie Edwards versus Violent by Design. So Violent by Design, they chose Steve, not Steve. They chose Deonna. They chose Deonna and Joe Doring. So Violent by Design, they had the Freebird rule where they could choose any member of their team to defend the tag team titles. Violent by Design chose Deonna and Joe Doring. And so yeah. And also we have another match, and it's one half of the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champion, Kiera Hogan versus Rosemary next week. So yeah, so I'm guessing Rosemary will win this match, so they'll get a tag team title match. That's how they book their stuff. Just like Monday Night Raw and just like SmackDown book their tag team championship feuds. But yeah, and also we have another match, and it's gonna be a tag team match. It's gonna be Rohit Raju and Shira versus Petey Williams and Trey Miguel next week. And also we have another match, and it's gonna be the Impact Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuoso Deonna Purrazzo, versus Susan. So yeah, that was it. That's it for next week's show. And so yeah, so right after that we had Sami Callihan. He had showed up in the middle of the ring. He had called out Don Callis and all that stuff. Him being upset that he got fired and all that stuff. Callihan got fired at against all odds, so he was upset. And so yeah, so Scott D'Amore he had came out. So yeah, first off we had the security guards. They had came out to try to eject Sami Callihan from ringside. And so Sami Callihan he tried to fight off the security guards. Like he dared the security guard to try to put their hands on him. And if they did, he was gonna beat them down. And so yeah, so Scott D'Amore he had came out to the ring. He had ordered the security guards to leave. So the security people they left. And so yeah, D'Amore he said that, Sami Callihan, I know how you feel. Like I'm upset too. I'm on your side. I'm actually on your side. I'm upset that you did get fired. I'm upset that you got fired. And so yeah, so he promised Sami Callihan that he will fix it. He will fix it. Just believe me, dude. I will fix it. Trust me. Trust me on this. I will fix this. And so yeah, but the way you're doing it though, the way that you're doing it right now, you're proving Don Callis' point that you're a maniac, that you're a psycho. So just listen to me, dude. Just listen to me. Just let us handle it right now. Just let us handle it. And so Callihan, he said that, he's the soul of Impact Wrestling. And, he doesn't care about corporate. He doesn't care about the higher ups. But for once he will listen. I will listen to you. So I'm gonna leave. So he left. He did his little hacking stuff. So he brought out his phone. He pressed the button on his phone, and the lights had cut off. And Sami Callihan is gone. And so yeah, so Sami Callihan is gone. And so right after that, we had Callis that came out at the last minute, right after Sami Callihan had called him out. So yeah, so Callis had came out, and he and Scott D'Amore they were arguing. They were arguing the entire time. They were shouting and they were spitting. You saw spit fly out of people's mouths. And Callis said that, you know, that's your problem, dude. That's your problem. You care too much about the talent. You care too much about the talent. You're too close to the talent. Me on the other hand, I don't care about the talent. I don't care about the talent. I only care about what's best for business. Now, I don't think that's what he said. The exact word that he said. I'm paraphrasing it. But yeah, he told Scott that he didn't have the guts to fire Sami Callihan, so that's why he did. That's why Callis fired Sami Callihan, and so yeah, and Callis he had said that I did it because it was the right move, and so the more he had yelled at he yelled at Scott, ugh, he yelled at Don Callis saying that you did it for your nephew, you did it for Kenny Omega, you did it for Kenny Omega, and so yeah, so Tommy Dreamer had interrupted both of these guys. And so Scott D'Amore, he said that, Tommy, now it's not the great time right now. It's not the great time right now to come out right now. We're handling business. And so, yeah, so Dreamer, he had said that, he talked to the Anthem people. And so the Anthem representatives had sent him. And so, to talk about what's going on and all that stuff. And so, yeah, so Dreamer had said that, Sami Callihan is not fired. He's not fired. He's reinstated. And so they wanted to say, Callis, he had said that by who reinstated him. So Tommy Dreamer, he said that he did. I reinstated him. Because, Dreamer, he had revealed that he went to Anthem and all that stuff to talk about what was going on with Impact. But, Dreamer said that somebody else is going to get fired. And so Scott D'Amore and Callis, they were worried about their positions and all that stuff. And so Dreamer, he was talking about each guy. Well, he was talking about, Scott D'Amore. And so Scott D'Amore thought he was going to get fired and all that stuff. But it ended up being Don Callis. So Don Callis got fired. And so they were both arguing and all that stuff. Callis and D'Amore, they were yelling at each other's face and all that stuff. Callis tried to blame D'Amore because he wasn't doing his job right and all that stuff. But yeah, this was the best stuff, though. This is the best on the show, this segment.
First of all, Sami Callihan is not fired. Sami Callihan has been reinstated.
Wow, by who? By who? By who?
By me. The board has brought me
Ooh.
to give that information as well as something else.
Well, there goes the share price.
Yeah. and something else. And
Something
that's
else.
Something else, Tommy.
that something else is that someone else needs to be fired. Because when the two of you started this thing, you called me up and I dropped everything because you said you were going to change Impact. You said
we did.
Yeah.
And you said you
Ooh.
were going to care about the men and women in the back. You were going to change perception, and yes, you did. But guess what?
And I do care about everybody
Ooh.
back there, and we did change it.
And
It's okay,
this
Scott.
is
Ooh.
the hardest decision
Scott, man, he is getting heated, man. He is heated.
and thing I've ever had to do, but personal relationships and personal friendships
Yeah.
have been put in front
That's what ruins businesses
of
too.
Impact Wrestling business.
He's a good guy. He can't help that.
Ah, shit.
Guys,
Callis.
He's sick. You'll be all right.
What is that saying? You can't see the forest before you see the trees?
You're really gonna do this?
So yeah, so this is the part when he thought that he was gonna get fired, and so that's when the tables had turned.
You have to understand, this place
Oh, through his shades, through
was
his
great,
glasses.
But when you put personal goals and personal friendships in front of business, things need to change. Yes, I told Anthem. Yes, I told the board, and they're going to make a change.
Yeah.
And effective immediately. Don Callis, you are fired
Oh.
from Impact Wrestling. You are fired
Said
as an
fired.
EVP. You're fired. They're letting you go. No, you've been terminated.
He's the one who can't keep his personal relationship. Oh, you should be fired. So do we. Do what needs to be done. I'm the only one who does what needs to be done around here. And you stooge piece of garbage. You Bruce Pritchard stooge.
Bruce Pritchard, dude.
Sick.
Oh my
Sick.
God.
This whole place is going to hell in a handbasket.
Goodbye, Don.
Now go ahead. Why don't you make Dreamer the CEO? This is ridiculous.
There's a trash bag waiting
You
for
should
you in the
both be
back.
fired.
Oh,
Both of you
the
fired.
trash bag working in the black.
I'm fired.
25
I'm
years.
fired, huh? I'm fired. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. You and your piece of garbage professional wrestlers.
Oh man. So yeah, so that was it with that. That was the end of the show. So yeah, so Don Callis was fired, man. He was fired. It was funny, man. It was funny. What the back and forth that Scott D'Amore and Callis had, they were yelling at each other faces and all that stuff. That was funny, man. That stuff was really funny. But yeah. So yeah, so Sami Callihan is reinstated. So that means the match is still on with him and Kenny Omega. The promise match, you know. So it still will be Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan going one-on-one for the Impact Tag Team or the Impact Championship, the Impact World Championship, I mean. And we have Moose versus Chris Sabin. It's another match that been announced. And so yeah, the match is still on. But yeah, that was it with the show. Oh yeah, right after that we had Don Callis. He was backstage with Sami Callihan. So yeah, so Don Callis, he was still heated that he got fired. And so Callis, you know, he ran into Sami Callihan backstage, and so Callihan, he told Callis, "Hey man, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out one person that you love, Kenny Omega. I'm gonna beat his brains out, and I'm gonna make you watch it." And so that was the end of the show. And yeah, that easily the best thing on the show was this segment was the best part of the show, bro. And that's the only thing important that came out of the show, man. Nothing else really happened on the show. The show felt boring. You know, really didn't care about the matches. You know, it felt like rematches and all that stuff. The main event, the last match that you saw on the show, never should have happened. Like it was it was boring, dude. It was just flat out boring. You know, up until we got into the end. Up until the end of the show. But yeah, that was it. That was it with the show, man. That was it with it. And so yeah, man, if you like this video, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and then right next to that subscribe button there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so we're the first ones to know my next video will come out, because I'm here each and every single week. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Friday for AEW Dynamite, Friday Night Dynamite. And yeah, man. And if you missed my Against All Odds pay-per-view review, Against All Odds review, the video is going to be right up here. And the link to that video will be down below in the description. So either click on this video or click down below in the description if you missed the video. And if you missed my last week's review of Impact Wrestling before Against All Odds, video's gonna be right up here. Video's gonna be right up here, and then the link to that video will be down below in the description. So yeah, man. And yeah, man. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for all the love and support for the show. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, man. And yeah, once again, guys, I'll see you guys on Friday for AEW Dynamite. And yeah, man. And thank you for the support once again. And yeah, man. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.